KILR Killer Game.
Hello, gamers, simmers, and pilots. I am the KILR Gamer, and welcome to the World Tour featuring SubLogic Flight Simulator 2 for the Commodore Amiga computer. Specifically, we're running this on a Amiga 500 emulation, so that way we can record and get all that good stuff on here, which wasn't all that possible to do on a real Amiga, at least quality-wise. But here we are. So let's go ahead and talk about our flight. It's not going to be a long one. It's going to be a short one. And so here is the Chicago area chart. And we're here at Oshkosh. And as you can see, this is the very top of Scenery Disk 9. There's no coverage above this. There would be if SubLogic actually finished their scenery discs, but they didn't. 8 and 10 are missing. We're going to be going to Sheboygan. Why? Well, because it's just a fun name to say. Sheboygan. County Memorial. And it's an ADF. I wanted to give us an opportunity to use the the automatic direction finder. I think that's what it's called. So I wanted to go ahead and make use of that, so that way you, the viewer, gets a chance to see different aspects of the Amiga Flight Simulator, not just the OBS and VOR radios, but the ADF as well. So we're just going to tune into that and follow it directly to the airport, and we'll go from there. So we'll be crossing Lake Winnebago here. We'll be crossing that and just on our way to Sheboygan. And hopefully the ADF will work because in the Commodore 64 it was just broke. The ADF just looks like a complete mess. And not only that, it wasn't pointing the right direction. It just, I don't know what it is. The programming and the scenery was bad or something. But hopefully it will work on this. And maybe just as a safety precaution, we can go ahead and set the Oshkosh radio nav to, maybe we could set it to 12, or not 120, but maybe 115. See, this is 11 right here, so 115. Yeah, I think that'll do it. So we'll set the Oshkosh radio to that just as a backup. So let's go ahead and get started. Like we said, the Oshkosh radio, which we'll go ahead and set that, is, gotta get it going here, 111.8. And we're going to be going from, and we said it was going to be 11.5. Kind of hold on. I think this only goes one direction. No, not the group. I don't think it goes down. I think it only goes up. Because I've tried clicking around and I can only get it going one direction. So now the ADF. Where the Commodore 64, you had to go into the settings and do it there. And once you do it there, you're kind of stuck with it. You can't turn it off. You have to actually reboot. You have to reboot the 64 and reload the simulator in order to get it to look back up. But hopefully we won't have that problem with the ADF here. Let's go ahead and turn that on. Boom. There it is, ADF. And we will change this to 254. So kind of click over here. I know it's not directly on that number there. 254. There we go. I think this is actually working the way it should. It looks like it's pointing in the direction that we need to go. So, yay! It's actually working. So, there we go. We got two things that we can use. And I think we are good to go to get started here. So, let's do that. Let's tune in to ATIS. If I can get it to work correctly here. Okay, Oshkosh, Wittman Field Information Hotel, 2300 Zulu weather, measured ceiling, 4900 overcast, visibility 10, temperature 58, wind 190 at 0, altimeter 29.95, landing and run, landing departing runway 18, advise control on initial contact, you have hotel. There it goes. Now, one of my viewers that's been watching the Amiga suggested putting fog. Let's take a look at that. Let's go here in the clouds. He's got ground depth fog. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's put in ground. Let's get it to work here. Oh, okay. It doesn't seem to be wanting to click there. Ground depth fog. How do we do this so that way it's not too much? Maybe 5. Let's try 5. Wow, that doesn't seem to... I must be doing something wrong here. I can't seem to turn it on. Interesting. Maybe we'll set it to 1000. Ooh, I think I turned it on. That clears it. Okay. You know, I've never messed with this on the Amiga. Let's try this again. Did it just... No, I don't think it closed it. Yes, it did. Darn it. Because see, here it is here. Oh, okay, we kept clicking this. We don't want to do that. Yeah, check this out. This actually does look good. Alright, so hey, you know who you are. If you're watching, great suggestion. Thank you. We'll go ahead and we'll give this a try a little bit. So we're going to be taking runway 18. Let's go ahead and turn on the plane. I wish it would not... I wish this would still stay sharp instead of, you know, fogging the whole thing up. But we don't have to do the fog every single time. But I like that look. That really adds a little bit of depth to it. That really looks nice. I'm going to pull up the map here. Try to figure out where we're at here. I think we're about ready to... Okay, 180, so we're going to have to turn the other direction this way. Because if we look at the map, this is 180, I believe. Or that is. No, that's right. The fuel, remember the fuel? We had taken the, yeah, so we've got to take this runway. So I'm not sure where we're at. Oh, we're over here. That's right. We're in the center. So we got to turn around, take this, and move over, and we'll be on runway 18. There's the fuel box. Yeah, so we got some cloudy skies. No rain. We don't get any rain. When did we start first seeing rain in Flight Simulator? Was it Flight Simulator 2000? I think it might have... yeah, no, I've had the rain in Flight Simulator 2000. I don't think it was in Flight Simulator 98. These are tiny little runways. They're cute little runways. Okay, this right up here is our runway, right there. That's the one that we want. It looks like there's VASI indicators on this side. They weren't on the side that we went on. There we go. This is what we're looking for. Okay. We'll go ahead and move ourselves and line up here. Runway 18. Oh, that's a lame 18 there. That's just... kind of thin. Alright, I'm going to check the settings here for a moment. Maybe see if I can speed this, speed the processor up a little bit, so that way it's not so choppy. I don't know why it's doing that. Alright, what I went ahead and did is I changed the emulation so that way instead of emulating a 68,000 processor, we're emulating a 68010 processor. It's just a tad bit faster. We don't want to go too much because then Flight Simulator just won't work. So, like, I was able to get Flight Simulator 2 working on the Amiga 500, and this is back in the 80s. And then I had gotten an Amiga 2000 because I had gotten the video toaster, which was fun to play around with. And I think I was still able to play Flight Simulator on it, because the 500 and the 2000 were based on the same architecture for the most part. I never had a 3000, but I did get a 4000, and yeah, Flight Simulator didn't want to work on that. The 68040 was on the Amiga 4000. Nope, Flight Simulator did not like that. And I missed my Flight Simulator. I still have my Amiga 500. It don't work. It's broken. So I think I had those set up, and I would play the Amiga 500 with my Flight Simulator, you know, every now and then. But eventually, Flight Simulator 5 came out on the PC, and I was just like, oh, I got to get that. And I had gotten the PC specifically for Flight Simulator 5. And I just went from there. Okay, we are set. Let's go ahead and get going here. Yep, that ADF looks right. That looks like the direction we're supposed to go. See where the arrow's going? So we turn in that direction until the arrow points straight up. There we go. We're just casually going up there. Fix my elevator trim. So it just lifted up on its own. I didn't need to do anything. Of course, the elevator trim was up a little bit, but yeah, we're all good. So U will get our landing gear up. U for up. Up it goes. No sound effects. And we'll go ahead and turn and start going in the direction of that ADF. And we got Lake Winnebago right there ahead of us. Oh, look at that, it brightened up. So we cleared the fog now. Oh, that was cool. That was a very neat little feature. It kind of faded this out a little bit. I like it. I like it. And we could probably make that fog a little higher, but I like seeing the bright colors too. Makes it look nice and clean and not dirty. But, you know, if we're heading into, you know, a big metro area, you know, the fog would kind of resemble smog. And I don't mean the dragon. I'll use the rudder here to get us fine-tuned. There we go. See, on the old simulators with the keyboard, I'm able to really fine-tune it with the rudder. Now, on the later simulators, I don't use the keyboard, and the rudder, yeah, I barely use the rudder. I wind up having more problems with the rudder because it's like I start turning and then it just slides back. Kind of annoying. Start adjusting my trim a little bit. We're not going to use the autopilot on this one because we don't have far to go, so let's take a look at the rear of the airplane. There is Oshkosh right behind us. And there's a city north of Oshkosh. What would that be? What would that be? Let's take a look. Let's take a look at a map here. Appleton. Yeah, I'll show you the map here. So here is Oshkosh right here. Appleton is right there, so that's Appleton. And if you take a look here, our heading's 107, which is to the left of 115, so we're not doing too bad. We're heading in the direction of catching this radio here. The ADF is pointing the direction that we need to go, so this is working the way it should be working. Unlike Commodore 64, it is not working the way it was supposed to be working. Kind of dropped my trim just a little bit more here. Trying to get us leveled out at 4,000. At 45. Okay, we're going down. Let's bring up some power here. So this is where I liked the Amiga because it had autopilot on it. And so you can just set the autopilot and not have to sit there and fuss with it going up and down, up and down, up and down. Whoops. Got to make sure my finger's not on the key. That would help. We got to be careful on this. We got to make sure we don't let our speed go too low. We're going to have really no reference as far as how far the airport is going to be. So we'll need to eyeball it, casually drop our altitude. Just take it one step at a time. take a look at this map, the SubLogic map. Oh my. There should be a measuring tool on here. Somewhere. Maybe there it is. It's over there in the corner. It looks like it's roughly 50 miles based on the map here. Show ya. Okay, so down here in the corner, right, we've got 0 through 50. By the way, this is a Commodore 64 map, because knows person who had this was like, oh, numbers 9 and 11, but I'm searching for 8, 10, and 12. 8 and 10 were never made. 12 was not made for the Commodore 64, but it was for the Amiga and the PC. So I've mentioned this before in another video that 8 and 10 were never made. I'm not kidding, they were never made. But let's see, highlight text. I don't know if I want to highlight it, but that rectangular box, about that size, that looks about the size right here between these two. It's about the same length, so I would say roughly 40-50 miles. Then again, it might be a lot closer than 50 miles. I don't think that's Lake Michigan. I don't think it is. That could be. Our altitude is still going up here. Because I was thinking when the DME is around, I don't know, 35, 40, we could start our descent. We should start seeing in the airport. Well, we're still following the ADF, so it should take us there. And remember, we're using this as a backup. This is starting to turn, or move, so we can move ourselves, I think, over to the right a little bit. It's pretty close. Look at this. 114, 115. This is pointing almost all the way up. There it is. There's the airport. Let's get our landing gear. U for landing gear. We can get that down. That's going to slow us down a bit. We'll bring our elevator trim up. I think I see one of the runways just kind of angling off here a little bit. So, yeah, everything's working. ADF is taking us there. So we're going to drop to 3,000. That'll give us about 2,000 feet to work with as far as lining up the runway and stuff. Now we can go ahead and make use of our map, and that will help. So let's try to zoom out here. Of course, it may be a little too far away. That map does not seem to be showing us anything at the moment. I might be right. I mean, we're at 24 miles away from Oshkosh. It may be about 40 miles. 40, 45 miles away. Come on, stay at 3,000. But I think when we get to 30 miles away from Oshkosh, maybe lower one thing of flaps, 1 degree. What do you think? It's funny, you're probably responding to me and I can't hear you. No! No, don't do that! Idiot. I mentioned in the last episode that I'm using the PAL version of Flight Simulator 2. I do have the NTSC version, but although it works, I can't get the scenery just to work with it. It's like I go to load it up and then it just kind of, it stays there, it sticks. And so I don't know, I don't get it. I'm not sure why it does that. So as a result, this edge over here is kind of cut off. And I have tried to adjust this so that way it's not cut off over there. Come on, stop going down. It's like I kind of see the runway and I kind of don't. And I don't mean the white line, I mean like the little nub thing here that's kind of sticking out a little bit. There we go, we're going back up. That's what we want. Kind of making little adjustments here and there until I can figure out where we're at. I'm working with the zoom. And I am not. Aha! There we go. We're seeing a road. There we go. Now we can see it. So you can see there's the direction of the runway. That's what we want to take. We need to go this direction a little bit more. Don't be afraid to use the tools that you have. Oh, we got some city polygon stuff up there. A little bit of yellow. Okay, we're at 31. We're going to drop a thing of flaps, just one. That'll get us slowed down a little bit more. Bring our elevator trim up a little bit. We want to go at a good descent rate, but not too much. So look at our ADF, it's pointing in that direction, you see that? I'm gonna lower the trim a little bit. Watch our speed. Okay, I think we might be a little bit lined up here, I think. We're coming in for final. Yeah, I can kind of see it. I can kind of see the runway. See how I'm lining up there? See it just sticking out just a little bit right there. I'll go ahead and use the rudder. Do a little bit of fine-tune turning. So I'm guessing this is Sheboygan out here. I mean, the airport's the correct one. I just meant the polygon. Should be hitting that fog here again here soon. Wish we had some random weather on this. Whoops. Wrong one. There's the fog. Okay. Fogging up here. Got a steep angle going on here. My goodness, we are way too high. Okay, we're going to turn our throttle off here. We're all the way down to the bottom here. There we go. Trying to get the brakes working. Oops. Okay, we're set. Bring our flaps up. Good to go. And there's no taxiways. We're just going to stay where we're at. No big deal. It's not like there's any air traffic or anything. And turn that puppy off. And we're here at Sheboygan. Not a long flight at all. Nice little hop over here. So... thanks for joining me. Be sure to leave a thumbs up and subscribe and leave some comments and hit that notification bell so that way you know when more flight simulator videos come out. I don't do just the Amiga or the Commodore 64. I do the Microsoft flight simulators as well. 3, 4, 5, 95, 98, P3D, X-Plane. Yeah, I cover all those on this channel, and I'll also be doing alternative flight simulators as well. Something that I'm not really seeing people do. So they only do little snippets here and there, but not actual flights. But we're going to cover that too. But anyway, again, thanks for joining me, and I will see you on the next leg of our journey.